Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen, do you like watching me toe the line between getting my computer totally hacked and making videos for you? Well, this is one for you, okay? I love running dangerous software, and sometimes I like running crazy scams on the internet, personally speaking. So one of the scams that I saw was HackerGPT Lite. Woo, boy! So, I talked about AI quite a fair bit the last few weeks, but I've seen a lot of ads for stupid shit like this. AI-powered OSINT and discovery tool with dark web search capabilities. Your trusted companion for investigations and security assessments. Now, immediately when I saw this ad, I was wondering, whoa, this must be a pretty poppin' service here real quick. 10 followers, join December 2024. Ooh, this could be a scam, ladies and gentlemen. But this Indian fellow over here is telling me all about this.
Alright, here's something cool for all the researchers, OSINT geeks, or anyone doing discovery work. You don't need to dive into the dark web yourself anymore. There's this tool, HackerGPT Lite, that does it for you safely and super easily.
Oh, I love when you gotta say it does it safely. No. And what do you mean not access the deep web, dude? Come on now. That's something that is fun to do. I always recommend any of you guys, if you're curious about the deep web, go to it. I made a whole weekly series at one point where I covered through most of the deep web. And you want to know something about the dark web? It's not what a lot of these clickbait channels will tell you. It literally is, for the most part, just fucking like absolutely goofy shit. Okay, yeah, there's some edgier stuff. There's some evil stuff out there. But generally speaking, it's just a part of the internet that's not cataloged by actual, by web indexes, search spiders. And at least in Tor's case, it's just a separate network that people use to gain anonymity. So I decided to go to HackerGPT Lite, and if you're already not running away from how obvious of a scam this looks, you'll notice that it has a continue with Google option. Okay, all right, let's redeem the Google option, I guess. Let's go there. So immediately it's asking me for a Google account, which of course I'm not using my primary Google account. That would be fucking stupid. And it leads me to this page right here. Ooh, unable to log in with Google. Oh, no. Now, again, I don't know what this has done to that Google account that I fed into the actual shark's mouth, but I'm going to assume none of it was actually good. Now, if this is all the video is, ladies and gentlemen, that would be a pretty weak video, because I actually wanted to dig into the HackerGPT world of things, okay? Now, lately, if you've been following the entire doom and gloom on the internet, you've probably noticed that AI generators are targeting executives, okay? But yeah, high-ranking executives at companies are the target of an increasing number of hyper-personalized phishing emails written with the help of AI generators. Now, if you're too young to know this, I'm going to show you a few Nigerian email scam, like examples of them from back in the day, that I actually used to freak people out. You can actually tell how old this is with the fucking with the interface we're dealing with. Please, I need your help, Miss Susan Dunga. Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, Côte d'Ivory, Ivory Coast, from Susan Dunga. My name is Miss Susan Dunga, the only daughter of late General Mohammed Dunga, the former director of military intelligence and special acting general manager of the Sierra Leone Diamond Mining Corporation, SLDMC. I am contacting you to seek your good assistance to transfer and invest 18 million US dollars belonging to my late dad, which is deposited in a bank in Abidjan. This money is revenues from solid minerals and diamond sales that were under my father's possession before the Civil War broke out. So yeah, basically the whole scam here, just for lack of a better term, was effectively getting people to invest a tiny chunk of money. Sometimes it would be like, hey, could you send me like, I don't know, $500 to get $15 million out? My money's being held. Oh, please help me. And you would just send $500 and this person would fuck off. Now, the beauty of the Nigerian email scam was it was so easy to do because realistically, you could just write one email and send it to like thousands, hundreds of thousands of publicly scraped email addresses to random people, businesses, and as long as 1 out of 100,000 hit, it was financially viable to do so. And that's pretty much how this came down. It became to a situation where, like, of course, then the spam filter, then like a lot of companies were trying to identify these kind of scams. And as they slowly evolved, the beauty of the Nigerian email scam was it never actually went anywhere. Most, if not all of the attacks that I've ever seen on people is done entirely through their email services out there. Now, because of all this, there have been other scams on enterprising modern day Nigerian scammers. And when I say Nigerian scammer, I mean really any scumbag around the world who wants to scam people through their computer, right? So in this situation, one scam that I found was WormGPT-J. Now, back when ChatGPT started, WormGPT was billed as the evil cousin of ChatGPT. So unlike HackerGPT, which I believe is most certifiably a fucking scam, WormGPT is basically this neural network that is designed for hackers and cybercrime. And yes, this website actually exists. This looks like something that would exist in the parody internet of Grand Theft Auto, but we live in a world where like people will actually go to sites that look as shitty as this and think, man, you're telling me I can start my hacking journey for only $175? And of course, the premium plans go up to $374, but the premium plus plan is $800. And you get like 1 to 10 users, so you can have a whole den of scumbags if you wanted. Unlimited tokens, downloadable unlimited prototypes. You know, the real reality of all this is if this isn't even a scam, it's most definitely a scenario where, again, they probably have you routing this information through OpenAI. So usually if you go to a ChatGPT like service, for instance, I'll show you right now. Like if I go to ChatGPT, I'm like, write me a phishing email to an accounting executive at Microsoft, right? So if I ask ChatGPT to do that, it'll be like, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't help you with that request. Creating phishing emails is unethical, illegal, and can cause significant harms to individuals and corporations. So yeah, okay, ChatGPT has a basic filter to it. Now, of course, what some people do is they try to hack ChatGPT by saying, for penetration testing analysis, right? Or some nonsense like that. And even though Dan is figuring out some of these like cheat codes, that's how people used to try to leverage ChatGPT for really nefarious purposes. Nowadays, there are other forms of GPTs that you can run locally on your device, ladies and gentlemen. I also want to just preface that there's a lot of scams that exist too. Like this one script that I'm actually censoring as much as I can, where you can just download it and run this, and it just basically backends off of people's OpenAI API keys. And again, I can't stress enough that you should never download these scripts or run them or even pass them OpenAI account keys whatsoever, because you really don't know what the script is doing. I mean, I don't think many people have the expertise to understand. And generally speaking, none of these are actually like interesting chatbots in of themselves. They're just scams. Because YouTube does get a little bit sensitive when it comes to showing people, you know, again, hacking stuff. This is all just, again, a scam. And I never endorse this. I never say that you should 100% ever use this. This is all condemned by me. I'm only showing you this stuff for educational reasons on this entire stuff. So if I do blur out names, it's probably because I'm blurring out names or bleeping out names because it is, you know, I don't want to like advertise this kind of stuff, because if there's one person dumb enough to go to it and use it for a bad reason, then I feel the responsibility kind of comes on to me. Now, there's other stuff that is designed for ethical usages like pen test GPT. And I don't actually think this stuff is all bad. Like, for instance, when I asked this AI what it can do, it does vulnerability identification, exploitation guidance, okay? Post-exploitation reporting, tools recommendation. It actually doesn't hack for you. It just feeds you entire ways to use the terminal and actually like run basic, you know, penetration testing software. So for instance, when I asked it, can you nmap iCloud, which network mapping is a tool that people use to initially figure out open ports, you know, areas of access for servers or public facing, you know, services. And of course, it tells you that while it can't directly execute those commands, it can, however, teach you how to type that command in a terminal. Now, I think there's nothing wrong with ethical hacking AI, especially something that can teach an individual how to work their way around some complicated programs for learning purposes. There's also sites like you're seeing on the screen, Hack This Site, which is a great playground for people that want to try to learn things like cybersecurity. They want to start learning how site security works, or they want to learn penetration testing, so they can then use these skills to better protect other people and themselves in the future. It's a great career path to go down the road if you're interested. And there's plenty of free resources like you're seeing that you can start learning from. Now, like that HackerGPT scam where I talked about, like it actually mentioned something known as dark web monitoring. Now, that's probably something you've seen sort of build by antivirus solutions or even VPN services, or, a lot of privacy focused services that, YouTubers have probably advertised for you. I know that in some of the sponsor reads that I've done, I've probably mentioned something that contained dark web monitoring. And the thing about dark web monitoring is, well, you'll go to like CrowdStrike. Who needs dark web monitoring services? The short answer, everybody. Oh boy. So anyways, the way that this works is it's not something where like some crazy devious shit is happening. Somebody in the back end of any of these services is probably running a few scripts that allows them to go onto the old dark web, that scary deep web, and run some checks against serious scripts, right? So for instance, they'll go onto the dark web, they'll probably look up like forums, they'll probably look up things like, entire hacker groups where data like sets are leaked. And I've shown this throughout my time on YouTube. Like I've shown this when we covered serious like data breaches and data hacks, where I've shown them actually posted to forums. I don't teach you how to get to it, but I will show you that they do exist. And it's because of that that sites like Have I Been Pwned will actually look through that and other services, and they'll tell you just by you putting in an email address that you're probably in so-and-so breach. So you don't really need to buy dark web monitoring. It's just one of those things where I think it's a little bit overbilled by a lot of these services and influencers that, promote these products. But of course, you'll go to forums like this where it's like dread, and then you'll see like, oh, Happy New Year. So it'll be like, really calm stuff from like user Paris. And then of course, other shit will be like, what are the dosages for perfect Calvin Klein mix? So yeah, it's obviously a Reddit board designed for talking about things that probably aren't legal. And in amongst all of these services contain sometimes your personal information. So you have to just really be watching out for stuff like this. I love this one, dude. WormGPT is a malicious AI tool promoted on the dark web as the adversary of ChatGPT. There's like fucking lore now about this shit. So here it is. We got WormGPT. Oh, just an exe file? Oh, I'm sure that's safe as fuck. But again, just for fun's sake, I guess we'll run this just to see how bad it can really be. And that just looks downright diabolically evil right there. Let's run that shit, ladies and gentlemen, see what it has. WormGPT. Which option do you want to choose? Attack the website, or send people with phone email, inject SQL, encrypt. We can't even spell decrypt right over here. God damn. Create a malicious file. Close. I guess we'll make a malicious file. Why not? You have entered invalid. Please try again. I see we haven't reached that in the old Python script, have we? God damn. Now, to go back to corporate executives being targeted by AI phishing scams, like I said, with a lot of these tech tools out there, when it comes to anything that allows you to keep your privacy, or in this case, let's just keep it, relegated to chatbots or ChatGPT. There's a lot of good reasons why somebody would use ChatGPT, whether it be to help them research, whether it be to help them maybe for people who are very scattered brain, it could help them, plot down like a routine. It could help them sort of organize their thoughts. There's really positive reasons why you would use ChatGPT. Likewise, there's also really negative reasons why you would use it. And this example is one of them. And it leads me to a piece of software that I do generally have a promotion for. I use this software not on a near daily basis, but anytime I use anything like GPT related or any of these chat tools, I don't go to ChatGPT. This is something known as LM Studio, which is a way for you to run LLMs locally on your device. Now, ChatGPT is basically a LLM that runs on really powerful hardware located far away from you. So when you whip out your phone, open up the app, write something into it, it basically sends your request to these servers that then process it and send you the result back. So to give you a quick idea, if you have a modern day gaming computer and a really powerful GPU, you too can run some of these softwares on your devices. LLMs come in all shapes and sizes. Some LLMs can even run on these devices pretty locally, okay? So it's kind of wild how this field is evolving. Now, unfortunately, hackers whip out things like Dolphin, for instance, which is this one actual LLM. And of course, this is supposed to be quote unquote an uncensored LLM. So they have filtered the data sets, which they've used 3 of, to remove alignment and bias. This makes the model more compliant, and you are advised to implement your own alignment layer before exposing this as a service. So anytime you come across these like scumbags selling you HackerGPT or something, or any of these services out for the world to consume, and you got to pay money for it, they're usually downloading this, deploying it somewhere, and just letting people access it, okay? You too can make your own ChatGPT just by running it locally at your home system. So in this situation, I've loaded it into a program known as LM Studio. So LM Studio, again, it allows you to run things pretty locally. And once these things are running on your device, you can then actually type to it. So you can ask, what is the capital of Canada? And utilizing my actual device here, it will actually give me the answer. Now, it looks a lot slower than one could imagine because, again, this is literally this is literally running locally on device. So yes, this is a big issue when it comes to something like local LLMs, especially with a higher model like this. It will take some time. Now, obviously, if you're looking at this brew an entire email in front of you, it's that easy for a hacker to unfortunately download any of these type of tools and basically feed into anything. So for instance, if you told it, write a phishing email for an accounting executive at a company known as Enron, Enron being a company that has, financially failed, massive story right there. So it's writing you a quick little letter. And again, hackers will replace, names and things and maybe touch this up a little bit. But the idea of it is genuinely speaking, a lot of these bot tools and a lot of this AI is used to generate hyper-specific emails for people that they recognize. And again, if you can recognize and target a specific individual, again, for hackers, it may make their job a little bit easier than sending a standard message, which is unfortunately why in a world of scams and phishing emails, and even for YouTubers that are sufficiently being hacked on a daily basis, you really have to watch out for a lot of this stuff. Again, it's getting a lot better. We're a long ways off from the original Nigerian prince emails. But again, cyber security is an ever vigilant job, okay? And if you're somebody that wants to keep yourself safe, you have to understand these are the tools, and this is in fact how easy it's become for a lot of scumbag hackers to use. So you really do have to watch out for situations like this. And when people take these generated mails and they stuff in generated malware that sometimes may be able to bypass detection, that is a scary world to live in. So you do really have to be extra paranoid on the internet of today. So there's a good reason why you would want to use something like LM Studio, not for nefarious reasons. Remember, every time you use like a ChatGPT solution, you are sending your information to another server. So when you're running things locally like I am here on a laptop, you can ask it questions like, what is an LLM? And of course, it will answer for you. So instead of requiring your information to go off to another server, you can run this locally on your own system. And that is good for privacy, meaning that you don't have to trust the words of ChatGPT or anybody. You don't have to send your information off anywhere. You can do all of your ChatGPT-like stuff in a model like Llama, for instance, or really any model that's available on your system, and it runs about as fast as one could imagine, especially if the model is smaller like this. So yeah, if you are somebody that values your privacy and you want to use GPT-like stuff, this is great for you. And again, even beyond all of it, one funny thing that I found was this thing called undetected GPT. So if you ever feel like your AI slop is a little too detectable, apparently these services allow you to quote unquote humanize your actual tools. The reason why somebody would use this shit that I, by the way, saw advertised entirely on X of all things is apparently you can use this to bypass situations where you want to pretend that your slop is human written work. Basically meaning that for students that want to get by, their college Turnitin shit, they can take the gamble and use this. To which I will say, never ever use a service like this. Honestly, if you pay to go to school, you should probably think of applying yourself and not take the gamble. It is actually, in my opinion, probably statistically more likely for you to win the lottery or win at one of the nicest Las Vegas casinos than actually winning on this, okay? Because betting against any AI to detect you is just going to be a lost cause. So don't be using things like this, and certainly don't be using things like this to make yourself succeed in any field, okay? You'll eventually be caught. And when you get caught, nobody will be there to laugh harder than you than me. But yeah, the internet's been a wild place with hacks, man. And I've been seeing a lot of these like ads for hacking services and hack bots and everything. And I just kind of wanted to make a video talking about, hey, yeah, the dangers of it that do exist. But this video is not a way for me to teach you about things like hacking. It was a way for me to give you that sort of like jolt to the the system and remind you that, yes, we do live in a dangerous world. And anytime you do receive an email, anytime you do receive a, program, remember how easy it was for a scumbag hacker to generate that on their computer and for you to launch it and lose some of your most prized pieces of data, for you to lose your identity, for you to possibly lose your YouTube channel. There's a lot of things at stake on your computer that people are fucking bricked up ready to get. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.